This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. Before you know it, football season is going to be here, and we're going to be one of the most talked about shows going because we're going to be live at a lot of tailgatings this year. All the home games we will definitely be live at. But right now, let's go ahead and bring on my co-host. First off, we have Mr. Dolphin Winters. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, brother? And good morning to everybody. How you doing this morning, brother?
I'm above ground and upright, and that's all I can ask for. God gave me another day.
You ain't never lied.
Let's bring on our middle-aged brother of ours, the late, great Mr. John O'Hanlon.
What's up, gents? How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. How you doing today, John?
Can't complain. It's Sunday, just relaxing.
There you go.
Ryan AP, we appreciate you, brother. Hope to catch up with you at the training camp or at tailgate and one or all of the above. And
Ryan, definitely join us at tailgate. We'll be doing this show live tailgating from 9 to 10 on home games.
Yep. Or at least, on Sundays, not the Thursday night games, though.
No,
but we still could do something on our own. It's not on Roku. Yeah.
We could do something Thursday. We can do a special edition on Thursday because I'll be there. So without a doubt.
That Buffalo game was that's going to be probably one of the most watched Thursday night games, especially beginning of the year. Wait to see what's going to happen, and it's
the first Thursday game of the year.
And for us, as far as I'm concerned, it's a must-win game. Being a home game, division rival, AFC conference, it's a must-win.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, John, when I introduced you, I said the late great.
Yeah, I know. I heard you. I was letting you skip over that one.
Well, you're not. You might be late to the show, but you're not dead yet.
Yeah. Not yet, thank God. And if I was, I want to know how I'm on this podcast.
You're here haunting us. That's how. Yeah. You're haunting us now, brother. No, I'm gonna. If I end up passing, I'm gonna haunt everybody at tailgating.
Don't haunt, just hang out.
Well, when you see a floating bottle of Patron going by, then you know it's me. So let's talk about anything. I mean, you got the Phillies game today that they're starting early because it is an outdoor game and the heat index is supposed to be like 110 or something up there.
Yeah,
right?
they projected the original time was supposed to be 1:00. They moved it to 11:30 today because the fact of the matter, they're saying the heat index can reach anything to about 111 to 113. That's just not safe. And yesterday's game was, I think, at 4, and it was hot as 80s, which is really hot. So to all the people that attended that game yesterday, God bless you. Because, It's like even with the breeze, it's still hot.
Yeah, a breeze doesn't do much when it's that hot.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it was funny yesterday at the Humane Society event we did. There was a little breeze when we started, and then it was like a dead still and just sitting there. You're sweating and stuff, even though you're undercover and all that. You're sweating and baking. We get home, unload everything, sitting down to relax. Got the puppies outside. When we go to bring them inside and go out to dinner for our anniversary, the breeze is blowing. It's a beautiful, cool breeze. And it's like, where the hell was this earlier today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Happy anniversary, you and Nancy.
Yeah, we spent our anniversary serving others, but that's fine with us. We had a good dinner. And, I mean, we went to Cheddar's, which we love the food at Cheddar's if you haven't been there. It's a lot of it's made from scratch. It's a chain restaurant. But I remember, and this is going back, let's see, we've been married 22 years. Let's say 16, 17 years ago, maybe 18 years ago. We could serve feed six of us at Cheddar's for $50-$60, including tip.
And 3 of them were teenagers.
Yeah, 3 of them were hungry teenagers that were running, so they ate a lot.
Right.
Last night, we had an appetizer we shared. We had a meal we shared. We had a dessert we shared. And she only
had one drink, not 2.
And she only had one drink because it was a big drink called the painkiller. And that came out to, with a tip, came out to $65.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or $60.
Yeah.
And it's like, we used to feed 6 of us on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, just think if we weren't sharing, it would have been $100.
Oh, yeah.
It's gotten ridiculous on all that. Besides that, I want to go over some things I just saw. This doesn't shock me. Beer prices for Miami Dolphins home games are among the highest in the NFL. We all knew that, especially all you guys that have traveled to other stadiums and things. That's why I think that's why we do a lot of our drinking at tailgating, because I go inside. When I'm inside, I get the refillable soda, and that's it.
That's it. I get that cup at the beginning of the year, and I keep it all year and just keep filling it.
They let you bring it in the stadium?
Yep.
They haven't, because I've heard some people say they've stopped them and stuff. And
no, we brought ours in. Shoot, this is my 4th year going down there, 3rd year of having a season ticket, and we bring the cups in every game.
Nice.
The girls, Maria or Chrissy, puts it in their clear pack, and they can see them, and we just walk in with them.
I'll have to do that, bring the clear pack we have and let the wife carry that in.
Yeah, they seem to bother the ladies less.
I've been buying them every game. 1 or 2, depending on, if it's just me and the wife, we buy one, we share the drink. Unless it's Mountain Dew, which I drink Mountain Dew mostly when I'm in there. And she can't really drink it because she's diabetic.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me, the beer prices when. Go ahead, John.
Even if you buy water in there, it's expensive.
It's $5 a bottle, I think.
Yeah, buddy. I know.
It's crazy. That's why you see a lot of people bring their own water bottles and they fill them up at the water fountain.
Yep.
3 most underrated quarterbacks for the Miami Dolphins since 1996. What's y'all opinions on that? Do you have any idea?
I don't know how you can go to 96 when Marino was the starter, but
right.
Since 96, they're saying.
I mean, I've always said Tannehill. I think Tannehill was underrated. He was a good quarterback. You know, if they had better offensive line in front of them and a better run game, who knows? But
Right.
you know,
Well, let's see. The first one they have is where'd he go? Damn it. Jay Fiedler at number 3. Most underrated quarterback to win a playoff game for the Miami Dolphins is Jay Fiedler. I know there are a decent amount of fans who have nothing good to say about Fiedler, but I don't understand how anyone back in 2000, right after Marino retired, had super high expectations for him. He didn't have a powerful arm, didn't possess a large frame, and he wasn't wildly elusive, though he could run on occasion. Fiedler was the first guy to fill the shoes of Marino, and honestly, he didn't do too bad in his first 4 seasons after being a part of the Jaguars team that beat down the Dolphins 62-7, which I think is partly the reason why Miami wanted to bring him in. Well,
What's up, Big Money?
what's up, Shake? How you doing, my brother?
what's up, Shake, and everybody else that's watching?
Hooked up, Joe. Here we go. Let me post the link for you guys if you want to join up with us. Number 2 they have is Gus Frerotte. That was part of my years where I was working 6-7 days a week and didn't get to watch a whole lot of football.
Same here. I was still working for Marriott around that time, so yeah.
Yeah, again, we're not talking about a supreme athletic machine. We're talking about a guy whose most famous moment is headbutting a wall after scoring a TD for Washington and giving himself a concussion.
Concussion. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
So, and then they go straight to honorable mentions. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Matt Moore, and Tyler Thigpen. Number 1 most underrated quarterback for the Dolphins, Chad Pennington. Well, I mean, it's hard to say. In 25 years, basically, we've only had 2 decent quarterbacks, I feel. Tannehill and Tua.
Well, I mean, Pennington was decent. You know, he wasn't great. Tannehill was good. I think if they put more around him, he would have done a lot better.
I agree with you on that because I love Tannehill. And I've said it before. You look at his stats and stuff. He was the most rushed, most sacked, most knocked down quarterback in history, and he kept getting up and coming back for more.
Yeah, there was a 5-year period there where he was the most sacked quarterback in the league.
Yeah. And I try to tell people that, and they're like, he was just no good. Don't give me that. You got to – we've said it before. You got to have a trench in order to –
I'll always bring up with Ryan Tannehill where Ryan Tannehill had a wide open Kenny Stills down the field against Seattle, and Kenny Stills drops the ball. That was a dime, and that changed the whole dynamic of the whole fucking game. I'll never forget that. We lost the game, if I'm correct, by 3 points. And if you score that touchdown, you don't even know that game is completely different just off of that one play. And that's usually how the Miami Dolphins lose their games. It's always that one play that we should have had, and it kills us. And it makes us pay for it at the end of the game. So Ryan Tannehill was not a bad quarterback. And like John said, if he had a better offensive line and more around him, what could have been? That's why I said, that's why everybody is it's like a lot of people glamoring in the Miami Dolphin fan base. You know, what if we could get Ryan Tannehill back? But for the price that he's going to probably want, you're not going to be able to afford a Ryan Tannehill and a Tua on a team together. You're just not.
Nope.
And I agree with that. I mean, he look what he did his first season in Tennessee. And because he had an offensive line.
And a running game.
Mhm.
I mean, oh, here we go. New rankings for Dolphins stars disrespects more than just Tua. That's
So I'm
interesting.
gonna be honest with you. A lot of these so-called polls or whatever, I don't really pay attention to a lot of them. It still decides by the X's and O's on Sundays when it's played on the field. Period. Point blank. You can give me numbers to the cows are coming home. It doesn't matter. You still have to execute on the field. If it doesn't execute on the field and it doesn't make sense and it doesn't work, that's just what it is. If it works, it could be what they say, the sun shines on a cow's ass. Some days it could be the worst team in football and they can mess around and beat the best team in football. We've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it.
And
So
we've said it. We said it every time. I'm just trying to give us something to talk about because, like this part right here, and Miami Dolphins running backs Raheem Mostert and Devon Chan, who attained so much success last season, are ranked number 13 and number 18 respectively. PF must have forgotten the Mostert was tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns and eclipsed 1,000 yards rushing. Chan rushed for over 800 yards as a rookie. He was injured for part of the season and was a backup to Mostert. 13th and 18th. 18th for a rookie, maybe. But like I said, he missed, I think, 5 games.
Well, I mean, when they do these things, they're going to take that into account, saying, "Well, he missed 5 games. If he played those 5 games, maybe he'd be number 8." But as far as Mostert, I mean, he had 22 total touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns. You put him in number 13, it's just another one of those things where people overlook the Dolphins. You know as well as I do when Jacksonville's game planning for game 1, they're game planning to try to stop Mostert. They don't want him running for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. So they could put all these polls out there they want. I could tell them where to put that poll.
Well, that's just it. And as we said before, it's just these people that are writing these things and saying that it's one's opinion.
Right.
You can't tell me you can't tell me that if you took a poll on people who do fantasy football and ranked them, I guarantee you a lot of these rankings would be different, especially by the guys who did well with those players and stuff. Because I know people who had Mostert and a Chan on their fantasy team and rocked the house with them.
Oh, yeah. But fantasy is different. I mean, fantasy is just accumulation of points through a bunch of players where, the NFL, you're based on win-loss.
Yeah. Ruger Stick 3, thank you for joining us, brother. Y'all appreciate everyone. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram,
hit the
Huddle
like
Sports
button.
Network.
Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. On YouTube, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to us. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle, despite signing a huge contract extension this offseason, was ranked 23rd as the best receiver in the league, 23rd. Waddle has surpassed 1,000 yards in each of his first 3 seasons in the league and has proven to be a quality complement to Tyreek Hill, which I agree with the stuff, but I just don't agree with the ranking. And like we said, that's one person's opinion. Some of these articles I get a kick out of, and I don't say it because I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. I look at the overall picture as well. We have to, being podcasters, we have to look at the overall pictures of things.
Listen, if I sat most people down and said, tell me 22 receivers in the league better than Waddle, most of them couldn't even come close to the 22.
No.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. It's crazy on one thing, and
Hey,
See what else.
keep underestimating. I like that.
I mean, I
Well,
love the fact that, not to cut you off, Paul. I love the fact that, yeah, exactly what you just said, John. Because at the end of the day, honestly, we can have the scariest wide receiver core in the league right now. Really, if you think about it, OBJ is not going to be the OBJ that you had in New York. We understand that, but this is a new, mature OBJ now that has a Super Bowl ring, that knows what it takes to go to the upper echelon, along with Tyreek, who has a Super Bowl ring that knows what it takes to get to the upper echelon. So now you have players on this team that have experience and knows what it takes to get to the next level. Now, the key thing is McDaniel, Tua, and the coaches. That's what it comes down to. We all know what it is. But that's what it comes down to. But the wide receiver core, yeah, keep on sleeping on us. I really believe that we're going to have maybe 3 1,000-yard receivers on the team this year.
I like hearing that from you. And I could see it. What I like, a lot of times when Miami has been considered an underdog, we come back and prove them wrong. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times.
Right.
It's the players we sign. We sign so many players to a 1-year contract. These guys, it doesn't matter about age or anything. These guys are all going to play with a chip on their shoulder because they want that bigger contract next year. They don't care what team it's with, so they're going to play hard in order to try and get a bigger contract next year, whether it's from the Miami Dolphins or from some other team.
Well, not only that, some of these guys are older and they just want a chance to get a ring so that they can go out with a ring.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder one way or another. They came to Miami. A lot of these guys that are older that came to Miami, signed with Miami for whatever, is because they want a ring and they feel it's Miami's time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miami Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips suffered a torn Achilles during the second half of the last season, putting his status for 2024 up in the air. However, Phillips says that his recovery has been going very well, which we know because we've seen a lot of updates on him. We talked to him at Dolphins Challenge Cancer in February, and he was looking great back then. He says, "I'm feeling great. I've been attacking the rehab. It's been a tedious process. You learn a lot about yourself through times like this. Adversity makes us stronger." I mean, he sustained his injury in week 12, right in the middle of a torrid stretch from the pass rusher. At the time, the 25-year-old has logged at least 1 sack in 5 straight games. On the season as a whole, he played 8 games and totaled 43 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and an interception. I mean, you guys know I talk about him. Phillips is a beast. He's also a great, wonderful person, just talking with him personally. He's humble. He's very humble. He doubts himself more than what I think he should. But he is a superb player. And, of course, anybody's going to doubt themselves in certain situations. There's a lot of people that do. You know, the people that are cocky are the ones that end up getting more in trouble than the ones that are not.
True.
And Phillips not cocky. He knows what he can do, but he over doubts himself sometimes, I think. But I love the guy. He's a superb football player, and I really think when he comes back this year. Good morning, Vamos. Thank you for joining us. When he comes back this year, I think he's gonna really be better than what he has been, because he's been attacking this rehab with initiative to be better.
Yeah, well, he's definitely. I mean, you can tell. We saw him at the DCC. I mean, he's still working out, working hard, trying to get rehab from this injury. I just don't want him to rush it. If he can't come back to week 7 or 8, fine, no problem. If he's there week 1 or 2 and he's healthy, that's good. But I don't want him to rush because we don't need him to re-aggravate it because that could be the end of his career.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's a very good possibility that McDaniels and then put him on IR to have him come back after our bye week in week 6.
Yeah, they would probably put him on the PUP list.
Well, one of the two. Him and Chubb, because they're talking about Chubb here too. They're saying mid-season for Chubb. It's a wait-and-see game, as you say, John. It's a wait-and-see.
And I think it should be a wait and see. You don't rush players like Chubb or Phillips back. I don't care how healthy those guys say they feel. Business-wise, it makes sense that I need you to be at least close to 100% as possible before I bring you back. Because the last thing that you want to do is bring calibers like that, have caliber players like that on our team. and have them rush back and then have something further hurt them. I don't want to see that. I don't. I mean, as much as I would love to see them back on the field week 1, that's being selfish as a fan. As a human being, you want them to be 100% close as possible to that. So maybe week 4, maybe week 5, or maybe after the bye week, you maybe bring them along, something like that. So, but yeah, I want them guys back on the field, but don't rush them back.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all want them back on the field, but we want them to be healthy and 100%, like you say, not taking the chance of any type of re-injuries.
Yeah, and McDaniel over the year has shown that he'll keep a guy on an extra week or 2 just to make sure they're healthy. He doesn't rush them back. I think he relies a lot on the staff, the doctors, the trainers, the therapists, and really takes into account what they say. Because he doesn't want guys getting hurt either.
Well, just looking over another article here. 2 Dolphins veterans whose roles will be pushed by rookies. These rookies could be players for the Miami Dolphins in 2024. You got Muhammad Kamara and Chop Robinson will push Jalen Phillips. Well, yeah, I mean,
right now Chop's is going to be the starter, so he's not pushing anybody. He's got to push himself and learn the playbook and understand what he's doing and get acclimated to the NFL game as opposed to college.
I'm like this, man. I'm excited for the simple fact of the matter. When you do get these men back and you integrate them within the system, the possibilities of the defense that we're going to be able to run and the pressure that we're going to be able to put on the quarterback is endless. And people have to understand this is a process. That's why I said the defense, because I will say this to this day. Defense wins championships. You can throw as many points as you want up on that board, but if you don't stop the other team from scoring that last play, that don't mean nothing. That defense is going to mean a lot. And we know what type of offense we have, and that offense is going to be a little bit more dynamic, more than what we have than what the other pieces. Like you talking about rookies, I'm looking at Taj Washington. I'm looking at him to sit there and be some way, shape, or form a part of this 53-man roster. That's one guy that I will say that they saying his hands have been like Velcro. His speed is out of this world. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in a preseason. Knock on wood, no injuries or anything. I'm looking forward to watching him preseason.
Yeah. I mean, we have the speed all the way around. Mm-hmm. We even have speed on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They were just talking about, like Phillips standing 6'5", which to me, I think he's taller than 6'5". I stood next to him. I think he's taller than 6'5".
Yeah.
263 pounds, a 4.5 in the 40, and basically a 12-foot broad jump. I mean,
he's a heck of an athlete. There's no doubt. I mean, the guy's a physical specimen. If he was one of these guys, he could put on 30 pounds easy, but he wouldn't look nearly as good and wouldn't be as fast.
Yeah, and he's just incredible. But they're saying Robinson and Kamara are basically the two that'll be taking over for Chubb and Phillips off the bat, unless they're or worse comes to worse, one of them will be a backup at least. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and like we said several times, with all the players we picked up, the players the veterans and the rookies that we have on the squad, it's really going to be interesting to see who ends up on the 53-man roster.
Right. Right. We might have some surprises, gentlemen. I really believe that it might be some surprises coming up on this 53-man roster. I really do. I really do. I'm looking forward to training camp and all that good stuff. But I really think a lot of people think that some of these spots are cemented and some of these spots maybe not be as cemented as you think they are. So we're going to see.
Yeah, I've been saying that all along. We're going to lose some names that people are going to be like, holy cow.
Right.
And listen, the biggest one I go back to is, back in the 90s, Jimmy Johnson releases Jack Del Rio because he's got Zach Thomas. Rookie year, coming out of college. Nobody really knows who the kid is, but yet he releases Jack Del Rio and makes Zach the starter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, like Ryan AP saying, he's starting to see why we drafted two edges and brought in vet edges. Jordan Brooks should be fun to watch. Interested to see if Weaver can top into the center. Tyndall's and
tell
Cam
Ryan
Smith.
to click the link and jump in here.
Pilly as well.
Ryan, come join the show.
Yeah, for real. We got about less than a half an hour, but we got time. You want to come on?
Patrick Paul will push Robert Jones and Jack Driscoll at right guard.
Not sure about that one because he's a true tackle. And they talked a lot about that when they were drafting him and, saying that he is a true tackle and that he hasn't played guard. So,
John, have you actually seen the Dolphins win a Super Bowl?
No. Well, yes. The year I became a Dolphins fan was January of '74. It was the last of the 3 Super Bowls. But I was a little kid. I mean, I ended up watching the end of the game in the emergency room to get my ear stitched up. So that's how I remember the Dolphins. So,
and I saw bits and pieces, but how I really remember it was all the excitement in my grandfather's, when the Dolphins won.
And I was a little kid when they played against Washington. So San Fran, I don't even remember the San Fran Super Bowl, but I remember when they went against Washington, and I vaguely remember that because I was running around playing as a little kid. So, and the
most excitement. My grandfather had the excitement when they went undefeated, the 72 team. So yeah, I mean it's a great experience of what we could remember it. I would say, right, John?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, I was a little kid, but there's just, the excitement I had. And like I said, I'm sitting in the emergency room waiting to get my ears stitched back on my head and watching this little black and white TV up in the corner, 13 inches, and couldn't even see the colors of the Dolphins. Just they won the game. I liked the way they played, and that was my team. And my dad was a Steelers fan because his whole family, both my mother and father, their families were from Pittsburgh.
I've been over there before. I actually had a long time ago was in New Kensington, which is just northeast of Pittsburgh a little bit, a suburb of Pittsburgh, really.
Yeah, they were from one of the suburbs. I don't remember because I haven't been out there. Shoot, the last time I was probably 8 or 10 years old. Last time I visited family out there.
Yeah, when I was up there in New Kensington was almost 30 years ago. Of course, I was happy just paying $1 a beer at the bar back then because it was more expensive in Florida at the time.
That was
Yeah.
back when the drinking age was only 18, right?
No, it was still 21. Well,
Oh,
in Pittsburgh, it might have been 18. In Florida, it was 21.
Right.
I was already 21, 22, I think, at time when I was up there. Yeah, they're saying, I don't know if Patrick Paul will push Robert Jones and Jack Driscoll at right guard. It depends on if they, get him fixed or what they're saying he needs fixing with.
Hey, listen, if they can tap that kid and put him in right guard, he's a huge man.
Oh, yeah. I've seen pictures of him. I can't wait to meet him in person,
Yeah, it's one of the few times in your life you're going to feel small.
Right.
There's been a few times I've felt small.
But I mean, listen, if they can get the kid to work out and work at right guard instead of left tackle, and he can actually do it, great.
He's 6'7", 331 pounds, a 36 and a quarter inch arms, 3 foot arms.
Yeah.
And he's even as big as he is, 6'7", even with the weight he's got, he still has a 29-inch vertical jump. That's a lot for a big boy.
Heck yeah.
They're saying if we want to shore up their pass protection and add some meat in the middle of the offensive line, should Jones and or Driscoll struggle, while placing Paul in the starting lineup might just be the best option for him to get immediate snaps during the final years of Armstead's career. No matter what, I think he's going to have a great mentor with Armstead around.
Yeah, he's looking like the replacement for Armstead for the next 10 years or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, there's this 49, which Brian AP says there's this 49ers this package 49ers do with Trent Williams. They put him in the tight end position, motion into a block. It'd be cool to see our tackles doing the same on some plays. Well, to wait and see. McDaniel's always changed things up each year, and this is his third year. We're expecting him to use the tight ends more.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know.
Well, shit, you better use the tight ends more. You didn't bring Janu Smith in there just to block. That's not happening.
Yeah.
You brought him in there as another target and another threat. So,
yeah, I agree. Vamos, how does this current team compare to the Dolphins teams that won Super Bowls? Are they ready to take the leap, or do they have to work to do? Well, first of all, the Dolphins teams of the 70s, any team of the 70s is a much different team than current teams, because the rules, they crushed each other. They played with broken arms. There's even been players that played with a broken leg before and stuff.
But, hey, Paul, wait. Let's rewind it. So let's start right now. Training camp. They used to be 4 days, if I'm correct. Okay, that would not fly in today's football. It wouldn't. Back in those days, like Paul said, dumb men was going out there. Didn't matter if anything was broke or not. They taped it up and they still went out there and played. Like, it's a different era. And then the rules, oh my God, you can get away with almost attempted manslaughter on the football field and only get called for maybe a 15-yard or whatever, or might just get away with it altogether. So trust and believe.
Yeah,
guys used to clothesline guys. They just throw the arm, knock them down.
The helicopter tackle, I will never forget as being a little kid. The opening monologue for the NFL today was the guy getting spun in the middle of the air, and it was the helicopter tackle. I was like, that would never fly in today's game. That would never fly in today's game at all. The guys would be fined, probably suspended for a couple games. That would never fly.
Yeah, the game was totally different back in the 70s than it is now. I mean,
Oh my
the
God.
way they hit, the way they tackled, the way, I mean, everything. They say it's a brutal sport now. It was a lot more brutal back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You talking about
I agree.
wrestling? You seen wrestling moves on the football field?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even into the 80s and 90s. I mean, defensive players were allowed to come up and hit, and now they can't leave their feet or they're targeting. It's the game has changed tremendously over the years. It's still by far my favorite sport.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no way anything could come close to it, but it has changed a ton over the years.
Right.
And I'm not old, but I'm old enough to understand and have seen, the rule changes, the trying to keep the players safe. Back in the 70s, 80s, they didn't care about keeping guys safe.
Hell no. Hell no. That
Ryan,
was
I'll pull that clip up on tomorrow night's show, tomorrow evening.
They weren't concerned with safety back in the 70s and 80s. They were concerned about going out there, playing the games, trying to build the NFL after the merger and get it to where it is today. And these guys making multi-million-dollar contracts, which we talk about all the time, multi-million-dollar contracts. These guys don't make nearly as much money as you think they do, but, they do make millions.
Mhm.
Well, I want to give a shout out to all our other Miami Dolphins podcasts, TFTG, Shake Money in the Blender, Dolphins Thursday, Stephen D, Allie and Marissa Marino. I mean, I can't think of all of them. But right now,
Mike
I've
Oliver.
Mike Oliver.
Mhm. You might as well say the whole DolphinsTalk.com crew, Jason and all those folks. Miami Sports Music with Solo D and those people over there. Shout out to TV Fins Talk, Dudley Do Wrong, Reason with Finsize the NFL, EM Dolphin, CB83. I mean, the list can go Big O. The list gonna go on and on. Mr. Kyle Crab, Locked On Dolphins. We can go on and on and on, man. All positive Miami Dolphin content. Well, we salute every single one of you. Miss Fins, of course, Miss Fins, where you at? We need to get you on here. So
real quick, for those of you who, because I just got this cut the last couple minutes, those of you who follow Dan Burke on the Finstones, he's got a new Twitter right now. He can't get into his old one. He says it sucks. He lost everything. He's followed so many people he's locked, but he's gonna try and hit us up as soon as he gets the old one unlocked, if he can get it unlocked. But he does have a new Twitter out there as well, and it's the Finstones. It's at @the_Finstones on Twitter. Dan Burke's a good man. I love Dan. He's always polite at tailgate and stuff, and it's fun to be with, and having the dance battles with everybody.
It's funny that Dan was Dan was one of the first people I met at the very first Stephen D's, when Stephen D was doing the the meet and greets. The first one I went to in 2022, he was one of the first people I met at the meet and greet. So definitely, Dan is a definite good guy. Sitting there talking, he's like, "Oh man," he said, "You from Philly?" I'm like, "Yeah." We started rapping and everything, and it was so funny because after that, that's when Ali shouted my name out, and everybody was like, "Well, who the hell is this guy?" So it was funny, because me and Ali talked on the internet for years, so we never physically met each other until 2022. So definitely.
It's funny you say that, because this is my third year as a season ticket holder, and it was 2022 when I first met Allie as well. And Allie and Keith, especially Keith, I chatted with I chatted with Keith for a while because not only through the Dolphins, but we both were on a cooking platform that we were talking about too, smoking and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And not your kind of smoking. Smoking food.
That's all good. I like smoked food. Don't worry about that. Especially some smoked wings. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, well I'm looking at actually doing some at a couple of tailgating doing some of my pulled pork. I've been getting just a lot of more compliments than I ever imagined on it and all. And we're gonna probably do pulled pork sandwiches, chips, and a non-alcoholic drink for like $7.50.
Can't beat that.
$7.50 or $10. We got to figure it all out yet, just to raise some money for some things.
Right.
Through WCFL and Helping Hands Incorporated, of course. I can't wait to meet a lot of the new faces. I'm actually going to be looking at meeting up with Ryan AP here in the next week or so.
Okay.
We're going to meet in the middle. He lives over on the Fort Lauderdale area, actually in Port St. Lucie, which is north of Fort Lauderdale. So it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun meeting everybody. I love doing this because I get to see my brothers in arms here. And, I miss you guys. This is great, but it's not quite the same, as seeing you in person. But at least we get to check in on each other. We are family no matter what. And we have a good time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've met so many people through Facebook years ago and then started going to the games. I got to meet them in person and, just amazing people. The clubs they have, the work they do, the charity work, putting smiles on people's faces, little kids when they come to the tailgate and, Paris Love raffling off tickets. There's so many good things that go on. So,
yeah. Real quick question, because I didn't see it. Wasn't the game 7 last night of the Panthers Oilers?
no,
Not last night, tonight then?
I believe it's tonight.
Okay.
Let me check. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah. I know if the Panthers end up losing this, it'll be the first time, I think, since they were saying 1946 that a team was.
It's actually tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? I was just saying that if Panthers end up losing this, it'll be the first time since 1946 a team has come back from a 3-0 deficit to 1.
Dude, if that happens, man, I'm a Flyers fan, but damn it, I've never thought that right now, and it's sad to say this, and I'm not saying this to talk shit, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying this, and we've seen this in sports. Momentum is on Edmonton's side. And the thing is, I didn't watch the series. I'm not going to sit here in front like I have or anything like that. But you just know when that momentum shifts, because trust me, I know here in Philadelphia, when we were up 3-1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks last season and lost the series, trust me, I know. So I fully understand. It's that momentum shift. If you can't sit there, that's that flick of a switch. One play, all it takes is one play to flick everything over.
Yeah.
Well, the big difference, I've watched every game. Not that I'm a Panthers fan, but a lot of my friends are. So I've watched every game. And the Panthers, the last 3 games, they've given up 2 shorthanded goals. They got the first goal of the last game they gave up on a horrible pass that was taken away and then scored on. And if the Panthers score first, I think they got a great shot. If they let Edmonton score first, they can't stop Edmonton's speed. They've scored so many goals on the rush. I think, what did I see? Edmonton outscored them in the last 3 games 20-4 or 20-5, something like that.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Finn. just so you know, it's your cousin from another mother or brother from another mother, Michael Winter's birthday's today.
Oh, happy birthday, Michael Winters. Definitely, man. Happy birthday and many, many more to you, brother.
I just saw that on Facebook. So
Yeah, I sent him a birthday wish this morning.
Vamos says, I see the Panthers winning on Monday since it's at home. Vamos got us. Let's go Panthers. Well,
I hope so. I want to see all my
I
Panthers
hope.
friends
Finn!
the cup.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, John.
No, I said I want to see all my Panthers friends. I hope the Panthers win, so they're all happy.
Yeah, good luck, guys. I mean, I don't wish no ill feelings, but right now, it's not looking good.
No, Edmonton definitely has the momentum and have done everything right, and the Panthers just can't get out of their own way. They can't score on a power play.
Right.
I don't know what happened from those first 3 games to the next 3, but what a difference.
Right.
The puppies are doing good, Ryan. Thanks for asking. They're little velociraptors right now, though. They are a terror, but I love them. They had a chance to really shut it out, and they blew it. If they don't win tomorrow night, it's going to be devastating to a lot of people, I think. Finn?
And there's a lot of people that we mentioned before that are Dolphins fans. A lot of those are Florida Panthers fans too. Burke.
Yeah.
Holly's a big Panthers fan,
Jason.
JD Boss, Jason, Keith, all those guys are, they're Panthers fans. So I want to see them win so those guys are all happy.
Right.
Is Keith actually a Panthers fan?
I believe he is.
I know, because I know he's not a Heat fan. Or is he a Heat? No, he's not a – okay, I'm thinking Florida Marlins. He's not a Marlins fan. He's definitely an Atlanta fan for them.
Yeah, he's Atlanta.
So, and I don't think he's a Miami Heat fan either.
That one I honestly don't know.
Oh, but either way, it's Florida teams, especially for me, because I grew up and live in Florida. I root for them for the most part when it comes to finals, if a Florida team's in it, but I'm just not I don't watch a whole lot of other sports.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I watch the other sports are in the finals. Dan Burke, thank you for joining us, brother. We were just talking about you.
Oh, he said he likes the Hornets.
He likes the Hornets. Dan, I hope your Panthers win tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be good for South Florida sports if the Panthers won. Well, we only got a couple minutes left. John, you got any last words you want to say?
Nope. Just happy to see you guys. It's always good to be able to talk to you and talk football and whatever else we decide we're going to talk about. And, hope the Panthers win tomorrow night. So all the Panthers fans that I know are happy because I have no vested interest in either team. I got more for the Panthers than the Oilers because I ain't never been to Canada. I don't think I even know an Oilers fan. So, hopefully they can pull it out.
We real quick, Mark from the Bills, you have something you want to say? We only have a couple minutes.
I just wanted to come up and say hi, Papa Paul. Always loved your show and everything and your dedication. Good afternoon or good morning, everybody. Just wanted to commend the Dolphins actually on the May and, of course, the Calais Campbell signing. I think was going to really help your defense. You hit 2 areas that I think were really important to hit because, Poyer has lost a step or 2. And I think May could come in there and add solid support. And Calais Campbell's a huge addition on your defensive line because that was an area of weakness because we really didn't know how good Steelers are going to be without Wilkins. And now having Campbell, who is not the same player as Wilkins, he's obviously older, But the point is, he's been a stable force in the league for 15, 16 years, and it's going to help Seiler a lot and toughen up that Dolphin defensive line as you go through a period where I don't think you're going to have Chubb or Phillips for the first 5 weeks. I just want to know what you guys thought.
Pretty much exactly that.
Yeah, we agree with you on a lot of that, and not having Chubbs or Phillips with the pickups we made, I don't think it's necessarily going to hurt us. It might not help us a whole lot, but I don't think it's going to necessarily help. I'd rather see Chubbs and Phillips, like we were saying earlier, come back 100% fully healthy instead of coming back early.
No, I think you're going to see Phillips after week 5, and he's not going to be the same player until 2025. I look at it from like the Bills' context of Von Miller. He was basically a non-entity last year, and this year he's looking much, much better. Of course, at 35, how good is he going to be? But the point is, I think it takes a solid year to come back from the injury, and I don't think you're going to see Chubb. I mean, you'll see Chubb at probably in November, but is he going to be back to the player he was? I don't think either one is going to be back to the force that they were until 2025. What I thought was interesting, though, about the draft was you get a Chop Robinson who, he doesn't have productive numbers as far as sacks are concerned, but he does have pressures. He does create pressure with that speed rush. More of my concern for him is that I don't think he's a particularly good player against the run yet. That has to develop. And Kamara had great stats at a lower level in the Mountain West Conference. So you got him, you got Shaquille Barrett out there, and where my concern is for Miami is twofold. At the beginning of the season, you've got a game with Jacksonville where the sun advantage is not going to be really an advantage because Jacksonville plays in comparable weather. And you've got to deal with their running game, the weapons that they have on offense. And although I think the Miami offense can attack Jacksonville's secondary, it could be a shootout. And the matchup with Buffalo in week 2, coming off of 4 days rest, both teams, there's not a pass rush that I'm particularly concerned with, and Buffalo's offensive line is really, really good and could wear down the Dolphins' run defense. And then, of course, you got to go to Seattle in week 3, and with looking at the schedule, where it sits in the back 6 games of the season, where you've got games at Green Bay and you've got games at Cleveland, you got 2 games with the Jets, you got San Francisco. You've got a lot of games in there that are potential losable games. Without a 2-1 start, I think this team could be in serious trouble. I think you get through the first 3 games, you steamroll Tennessee and you steamroll New England, but you've got to come out of it at least 3-2.
I don't mean to cut you short, but because we are on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick on Sunday mornings, we have to shut it off here in like less than 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
I agree with you on a lot of that, but I think with the pickups, and I think we all agree that we need to come out 2-0 at least out of the first 2 games. We appreciate you joining us. I'd love to have you on one of our Wednesday night shows, which is not on Amazon Fire Stick or Roku.
Absolutely.
We're Wednesday nights. We're at 8:45 and Eastern time, and we're on until as late as 11:45 sometimes.
All right, I'll be there.
10:45. So,
hey, thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for the podcast.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank
now.
you.
All right. Peace, love,
Peace,
and
love,
fins
and
up,
fins
guys.
up,
Take the last
everybody.
word.
Yep. Have a good night.